Oh, there we go. Oh, we already got someone in here. Mr. Speedernator 7? No clue. But thanks for joining. Even though it says there's no one watching right now, so you must have already chatted and left. Okay. So I guess we'll just get started. Jimbo, thanks for joining. We don't have any other guests today, so it's just me and you. I think we're gonna make this a quick one. Episode 53 of the GameFi Rundown. Again, continuing this every 2 weeks, even when we get a lot of FUD in the community, or at least, around Illuvium. So we'll get to talking about that in a second. But first, I have this poll up there, so I just want you to, I just want to get an idea of what you're looking for, from this channel, this GameFi Rundown podcast. What would you like to see more of? Continue to talk more about Illuvium, get some more general GameFi news in here, get new guests that we haven't had before, maybe people from new games, guilds, new perspectives, and maybe talk about more general crypto stuff. Like I'm a big Bitcoin guy too, so I could probably talk about Bitcoin. But yeah, so use a little hashtag to get a vote up in here, and I'd appreciate that. I don't know why it already says 1 and 2. Does that work?
Yes, sir.
It looks like we already had a 1 in there. All right, so yeah, if you do that, I'd appreciate that. And let's just roll right into this first topic here. So Jimbo, there's been a lot of FUD in this community. I don't even know that YouTuber's name, but YouTuber made a big video that had like I think hundreds of thousands of views, just completely like really shitting on Illuvium. But then Vetamore, who anyone who's been here for a while knew Vetamore, he made an X post about this, or tweet, whatever you want to call it. And congratulations to him, because he just had his most successful post ever. But he basically posted a screenshot of the pinned comment on that video. I'm not going to read all the way through this, but basically the big thing that I got out of this is this post is supposedly from an ex-Illuvium employee, obviously anonymous. No one's saying who they actually are. But the big thing I'm getting out of this is they're saying that the 3 Warwicks, now only 2 that are still working with the Illuvium, just have like these massive egos, and they have little experience creating games. And I have no clue if this is just made up or if this is a real ex-employee. But I mean, from my perspective, you know what? I would say, Kieran and Grant, and maybe to a lesser degree Aaron, I think they do have massive egos, and it's clear, and we know that they don't have experience making games before. I mean, they have some smaller experiences with different projects. It's not like they're coming in completely blind, but that's a known thing that they haven't made these games before. They do have these big egos, but you know what? You need big egos to think you can create something like this. And the fact that they have big egos tells me that they're not just going to give up on anything. Like, anytime they see FUD in the community, like, if I can think like Kieran for a second, I'm just like, damn, screw these guys. I'm just going to push even harder to make sure it works and make sure we have a successful project. But what's your take on this? I know we had talked about the video that came up before. I watched that once through kind of quickly. And then we have this comment. What are you seeing, Jimbo?
I mean, obviously they have big egos. Like, anybody who's ever talked to them understands they all have massive egos. I don't that's not like, I mean, you kind of do need a big ego, but you also have to let that ego you also have to have the ego and intelligence to understand that you want the best people helping you so that you can shine as bright as possible, you know? So, I mean, I think there's probably some legitimacy to a lot of what this person's saying. And then there's also probably that, ex-girlfriend thing where they possibly got let go for not doing the best job, or just because they got let go in general, so they're being a little bit spiteful. Or maybe it's completely true. There's not really a way of telling for sure either way. Regardless, I think the bigger point to take from this is that something in Illuvium is going massively wrong, and it needs fixed. And fundamentally, that comes down to the gameplay not being good enough.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the FUD is not coming out of nowhere. Like a lot of people in Illuvium expected, fireworks and things to just blow up like crazy, and it hasn't quite done that. I wouldn't say it's like a failure. It's definitely not a failure. I think we're still heading in a good direction. We get constant updates. Being part of the team, I could tell everybody on the team is still, working their ass off. Everybody wants to see this a successful project, and I do think we're heading that way. In something that I feel like I say every episode, but the market has to deal with it too. Like once the whole market starts going up, Bitcoin starts flying, people who may not even know Illuvium are going to start buying the coin. Not financial advice, but the coin is most likely going to go up with the market, and that's going to bring more eyes to the project. More people are going to get into it. More people are going to, find that they like it. They're going to play the game. Uh, I think we're early, and I'm still confident that moving forward, even towards the end of this year into early next year, I think we're going to see a lot more success coming from Illuvium.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I could wrap this up with is let's just hope that if this is true, this is a wake up call to the founders and they get their asses in gear, or that they might on the flip side just need to shut all of this out and realize that they're still on their way to making a good game. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but that's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, like I'm sure the Warwicks and everybody on the team have seen these posts, have probably watched that video, and yeah, I think it is a net negative. We don't want to see this stuff out there, but there could be some positives coming from this. Like looking at these posts, being like, oh well, maybe I do need to up my game in this certain area, or we need to fix a certain thing going on. There is good that can come out of it. Um, all right, let's move on to the next topic. So we did get a fairly big update for Illuvium. Let me share my screen here. Yeah, so this was the update just last week. It was Illuvium patch 1.1.0, Overworld and Arena. The big takeaway I really got from this was the Leviathan mode was finally added in. And I'm not going to read through all of it, but right at the end, it says the key takeaways. So, strategic advantage, owning and leveling up your alluvials, weapons, and suits will give you a significant advantage in Leviathan mode. I also think this update came with seeing the hollow versions of your alluvials on the board. Then it says Leviathan mode is designed to reward players who invest in their collections, making strategy and planning more crucial than ever. Prepare your best alluvials and dominate the gauntlet. Um, so I really like that this came out because it finally gives you a reason to, go out in the overworld or scroll the Alluvidex to actually find good quality alluvials. I know there are some people who just want to, you know, have the same alluvials as everybody else and just say, well, our alluvials are equal, so if I beat you, I'm better. But I've always been that person where I want to be able to catch my own alluvials and then level them up, search for the ones with good stats, and actually use what I own in the game. It feels like more of the Web3 idea now that we have this Leviathan mode rather than just. I mean, without the Leviathan mode, it was essentially just like a Web2 game. But this is what makes it more of that Web3. So I'm excited for this. I played a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, we're still in a state where if you're not maybe it's just I'm going trying to play this at a bad time. But it's been hard to find in like a full set of opponents in Gauntlet. So I feel like you need to be in the Illuvium Discord when everybody else is playing and then be like, all right, let's start up a game, make sure we get full people. Because when you do hop into the game and you know that you're playing against a bunch of bots, it doesn't feel the same. You don't really want to do that. But Jimbo, what do you think about this update?
I think it's cool. Nice that they have it in. I'm pretty sure I've been consistent on this my entire experience with Illuvium. I'm not interested in Leviathan at all. I want the game to be
No.
fixed so that I can play it, and like you said, I want to be on that even playing field as everybody else, and you beat them through my skill and knowledge instead of having the better alluvials. Like it's great that they have it in there. It will probably even be interesting to watch. Actually, like I could see myself watching it as a viewer, but I'm not going to spend hundreds of dollars to come up with a Leviathan team to play in Gauntlet. I just want to play the video game. If I'm going to spend hundreds of dollars, it's going to be on skins.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I guess, admittedly, maybe I think this way because I know I'm not a top player, and I need an advantage some other way, and I
Sure.
think that's perfectly fine. There are pay to win games like in Illuvium. Now we have basically kind of like a pay to win version, and then a free to play version. And
Yeah.
if I can use some of my time, my efforts, and my money to increase my chances of winning, like I think I should be able to do that. Why not?
Yeah.
You need
100%.
Yeah, you need people paying money into these games for them to work anyways. And I see myself as more of that player. Like I want to make sure if I go on the Illuvidex and I see a really good alluvial with like really good internal stats that's at a good price, I pick that up and I feel like that's the meta game for me. I'm like, now I'm gonna put that in my deck.
Sure.
I don't need it to be fair all around.
And just so all the viewers know, like I'm not shitting on Leviathan. I actually think it's a great idea. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to help raise the prices of alluvials and things inside of the overworld. It's just not for me. And most Web 2 gamers are not going to be interested in it at all. This is a purely crypto bro thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the perspective on it.
Yeah, I mean, I see it as like that 80-20 rule that you can throw around anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
I could see about 20% of the people playing, going into the Leviathan mode and picking up good alluvials to use their actual alluvials in the game. And then the other 80% will be the people playing the free to play version. But when it comes to like revenue coming in from a game, it's that 20% that usually keeps the game going and funds the
Mhm.
game. So I see it as a good thing. I personally like it. I'm gonna try to play more. I really just can't wait till we have more people, um, playing it. And I also think I mean, we need more players overall. But also, there's a lot of people who are probably not quite ready for the Leviathan mode because they don't have a deck that they can complete that's good enough. Like I went out into the Illuvidex to buy some alluvials I wanted for my deck. So it doesn't surprise me that it's hard to find those games right now. Um, but like I said in the last segment here, I'm bullish long term. I still think we're heading in the right direction. Um, let's see. It's not about the deck. What do you mean there, S Judd? It's not about the deck. Can I just throw together a team, give it to you, and then you'll beat me?
No, I think he means for Gauntlet. It's not a.
Oh, it's not called the deck. Oh, it's called a team, right? Put together my team. All right. Anyways, move on to the next topic. Like I said, we're gonna make this one quick today. So guilds. I wanted your perspective on this because um, over the past couple weeks, I've had some chats with different people from different guilds, um, and just kind of getting more of a perspective of what it's like being on the inside of these guilds. Personally, I was when I first got into Illuvium, literally 3 years ago. I joined a guild because I didn't really know what I was doing. It was the Shiny Shards Guild that technically doesn't exist, but now it turned into the Wildfire Guild. But anyways, I didn't have a very good experience with it, and that's speaking on the Shiny Shards part of it. Once it turned to Wildfire, I think it's a great guild now, but I didn't have a very good experience with it. I
100%.
left that guild, and I was just like, being a content creator in Illuvium and being this involved, I don't really want to put myself in any guild. I want to just be like neutral all around, whether guilds are feuding or they're all having a good time together. Um, I didn't really like the idea of kind of getting sucked in one direction and kind of just like what I'm saying, like just be like, oh, I'm just
Sure.
gonna be around this group of people all the time. I want to be exposed to everybody. But I mean, there are some good things. Like I said, I've had some chats with people from guilds, and they're they can work together to be better at the game, and you do get more of that. I guess that like those closer friendships when you're in a guild with somebody rather than just going into the regular Illuvium chats when there's hundreds of people talking instead of like your core 10 to 20 people. But if you have any experience being in any guilds of like any other games or in Illuvium, I'm not sure if you were involved with that. I mean, what do you think? Are guilds overall, a good idea for these for like this project or any project?
Yeah, guilds are great, and I have not in a guild for Illuvium for the same reason that you aren't. I want to be able to work with everybody. Now, if I was wanting to play competitively, I would 100% join a guild. Guilds are great for like any kind of PvP kind of thing, but if it was just like talking, I don't need to be in your guild to hang out with you. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
but yeah, when I was playing RuneScape all the way through, uh, just like beginning of high school up until like even I play some now, but not as much. We would do PvP like guild battles, and that's always super fun. Like anytime you introduce PvP in a group of friends, that's where the you really see the value of guilds and or clans or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I think guilds are awesome, especially when it comes to PvP stuff. In crypto, you also have the benefit of there's some monetary value sometimes. Just that's just a very broad thing that happens too, because you can do that in so many different ways. But yeah, I have no guilds are amazing for building up a loyal fan base. If a video game wants to be successful and there's like a PvP element, or and especially if there's a crypto element, you want to support guilds.
yeah, I think they're a great idea. I know in Illuvium we have probably what 4 or 5 guilds that are pretty active. Um, off the top of my head, we get the with the Wildfire Guild, we have Hype, we have Phantom. They're all doing good things for the community. They all have great people within those guilds. Um, and some of them were inviting me in, like come on in and learn a little bit more of how to be good at Illuvium, and I might take them up on that. I'm not going to be putting any of those guild names by my name. I'm not going to try to like associate myself. Well, I'll be associated with whatever guild, but I'm not going to tie myself to any guild. But I might hop into some of these discords and actually learn a little something from these guild members. Um, all right, let's move on. So Kieran AMA. If anyone here was hoping I was going to say I had one with Kieran, I don't have anything coming up soon. But you're thinking about if you're watching this live right now, in about 10 hours, I think Kieran is going to be on Scoriox's channel with Sam, and this is really the yeah. I think Kieran's been like I don't know. I haven't heard too much from him. I think he's been out a little bit the past couple weeks, but he's going to be going on to for this AMA. It's the first time since really all of this FUD happened in Illuvium, like that video, that post from Vetamore. Just the crypto market's going down even more. Um, so my question to you, Jimbo, is what do you want to see come out of this AMA tomorrow? Like, what questions do you want to see Scoriox and Sam ask, and what answers do you want to get from Kieran?
Obviously, number one is how are we going to be attracting more players? And number two, how are we going to give value to alluvials? In other words, how are we going to get Arena in a state where it's fun and playable? That's pretty much all it comes down to, because I feel like a lot of people are missing that the low player counts are because of Arena. People keep coping and they keep coping and they keep coping, but if Arena's not in a good spot, we're not gonna have a player base. But yeah, so that's my biggest question I would have. How long is it going to take until Arena's in a state where it's fun and playable?
Yeah. No, and I completely agree when it comes to Arena. Like I said, when this last update came out for the Leviathan mode, that's when I went in there and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna buy some alluvials because I want to start playing more of this arena. So the arena definitely helps. But yeah, I want to see Scoriox and Sam, and I think I'm gonna I'm waking up early to go to my day job tomorrow. So usually when I get there, they're like in the middle of their episode. So I'm definitely going to tune into that. But yeah, I want to see them ask some tougher questions. Not just like the, oh, what's coming next, and have Kieran just, you know, talk, like, hype everyone up like he usually does. I want to see some actual questions being asked, like, you know, maybe they ask about this video, this post that Vetamore made. Is there any truth to that? Um, just, kind of get a real answers from Kieran of like what's being worked on right now to combat this FUD, and what are we gonna see like in the next, like, I guess, like, I don't know what the word is, like, not tangible, but like what's actually going to be done right now. Not hyping up the future 6 to 12 months down the road of everything's going to be good, like I tend to do. The market's going to go up, we're going to be good. From Kieran, I want to see what's going to happen next, what's going to happen in the next month or two to kind of, change things around.
Yeah.
Um
Not only that, I would like to see them if that Venomore post or the Jean video is brought up, I would like to see him what would give me a lot of hope is to see him not make excuses and just take it on and be like, we have a plan. We're going to fix this. We're going to fix this. We're going to fix this. I understand this is awful. This is awful, but have faith in us. We're going to do this. Maybe not give us all of the explanation, but we're going to take care of these things and we're going to turn the ship around and get it headed where it needs to go.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I know Kieran he doesn't shy away from questions. So I think is if he gets asked tough questions, he's going to answer them. I don't think he usually, you know, you know, diverts too much from tough questions. I think he'll take it head on and answer them right away. I think if we're going to get enough out of this AMA, like a good amount out of this AMA, it's going to come down to the questions that are being asked. And I think Scoriox he's been around for a little while. Like, he's probably more comfortable asking tough questions. So I'd like to see him actually do it. And I
Yeah.
think Sam will be willing to ask some tough questions to Kieran.
Can
But
you bring up that comment that Michael Mowry said, where he and the team delivered 3 games, all with on-chain elements, first time ever, and he is a failure?
yeah,
So, okay, just to be clear, I did not say that they were failures. I'm just saying the gameplay itself is a failure. All of that you're talking about, it being on chain, uh, it having so many transactions, all of that's great. It's awesome. But at the end of the day, gamers don't give a shit. We want gameplay. We want something fun. We want to be able to play with our friends and not have to deal with a terrible game. Like I'm not saying that there's no hope, but we can't just skirt around the fact that the current gameplay and the quality of gameplay right now is just awful.
yeah. But I mean, there is something to say about this. Like, yeah, they've done something that really hasn't been done before. Um, in when you look at the game, like, compared to other Web3 games, it's still a top Web3 game. It's just the whole Web3 gaming narrative is just still a tough sell right now with
Sure.
the markets going down.
And
I
he
think we
said
were good.
he said you have to lay a foundation. Sure. No, I completely agree that foundation that they've made is perfect. Let's see how they build on top of it and make let's see if they can make a game worthy of being called that AAA blockchain game that's going to bring it to the masses. I believe they can do it. I'm not trying to sound like this fudster, but I'm not trying to sound like SFUD right now. They can do it, but I mean, we gotta. There's something wrong going on that needs to be fixed, and I don't know. I just love Illuvium, and I really want to see. I want to see that gameplay be looked at as a top priority instead of trying to pander to all the crypto bros. I think that's going to kill Illuvium.
Yeah,
And
in it, I just I keep thinking of like what we were just talking about before with the whole ego thing. Like, I think Kieran's ego is big enough to just say like I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to make sure this is a successful project. And I really do believe in Kieran. I don't think I have no doubts in my mind. Like, he's not just gonna get up and leave the project and let it fail. Like, he would ride this project to the ground, I think. Um, but I think we are heading in the right direction. I think Kieran and Aaron, they it's tough to say like they know what they're doing because they haven't been here before. But I think their ego is going to push them in the right direction. They're going to make sure this works. They're still working hard. You know, their team is hiring some new people to help work on different parts of the project to keep things moving in the right direction. Um, and yeah, I think it'll work itself out.
Yeah, I still have faith.
All right, let's go. All right, so last topic. By the way, if you're in this chat, I don't know if you can do this from the the Twitter side, but if you're on YouTube at least, uh, go on to this poll that I have here. Just for future, I'm trying to think of how we can improve this GameFi rundown. Do you want to see more Illuvium stuff? Like, are you a strict like Illuvium fan here? Do you want to see more general GameFi stuff? Do you want to see new guests, with new perspectives and stuff on the show, or any just general crypto talk? Put something up in the poll so I can see it right now. We're just tied at one.
Maybe we'll get Vetemore on next week.
Hey, if everybody wants Vetemore on, then we'll get him on. I've had him on before, and like I said, he just had his most successful tweet ever. So, I mean, you knew he was going to follow that up with some other FUD tweets that I just saw today. But he went from 118,000 views to some of them with like 300 views. So that's just how the algorithm works. But anyways, this last subject, I did kind of want to stray a little away from Illuvium on this one and, get a little bit of nostalgia with our past here. So, Jimbo, my question to you is like, and you can tie this into Illuvium if you want, but like, what is a game, whether it's your favorite game or just the game that you really got really deep into, what game have you played in the past that really like hooked you, and what made you keep coming back for more to that game?
It was RuneScape. There was just
Yeah.
ever since I was a kid, I've always played RuneScape, and I come back to it and dabble in it, like very, very little bit here and there nowadays. But there's just so many different things you can do. You can train your skills. You can group up with people for PvP with the clans, like we were talking about earlier. You could go 1v1, or you could like fight bosses. There's just so many different things that you could do, and it just had this very simplistic charm to it that I just absolutely loved. And there's a saying like, you may stop playing RuneScape for a while, but you never quit until you die. You'll always come back for a couple of days here and there and do this or that. But yeah, man, so many good times playing RuneScape, so many smashed keyboards, so many broken computer monitors. I mean, it was just an absolutely good time. Jimbo was eBay scamming RS Gold. True. Actually, I did try my hand at running a bot farm so I could sell gold. That's one of the reasons why I like crypto gaming, actually. But yeah, that
Yeah.
was good times.
So what's funny about RuneScape is I never played it. I never got into it, but I had one of my good friends and my brother played. Like you said, I was laughing when you said like you never really quit RuneScape because like my brother was playing this 15 years ago, and he even was running some of those bots. I remember him telling me, "Oh, I got this account got banned because they figured out I had a bot running." Um,
And he's
and
not in crypto gaming?
so that's
That's
the other side. Now
crazy.
I was gonna say, like, he was in games like this before I was in games like this, and like I can't quite convince him. He's not like one of those like I'm opposed to it. Like, I think if the right things came around with Illuvium or some other games, he would jump into it. But yeah, he hasn't quite got sucked into the Web3 gaming, even though he's been around RuneScape for a while. But like you said, like you never really quit because like I swear over the past maybe 6 or 7 years, there's been a couple times where I've just like asked him what he's been doing. He's like, I got back into a little RuneScape for a little bit. started running some bots or something like that. And I'm just like, I don't know. I never really understood that game, but I could tell that like that's the game for my brother. That's just like he's always gonna go back to it a little bit.
Uh,
Um,
it's a great game. Don't
yeah,
play it. Don't if you're watching this, do not play it unless you know, don't have a
want to
life
be
and don't
stuck
go
in it forever.
outside. Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at this. We got Mr. Dick Kings in here. Yeah, I'm
It's
bald, but
such a
I
funny comment.
every time I say Jimbo's bald, he says no, I'm not. I got a
I
little bit
have
of
a full
hair.
head of hair, I just shave it, see? It's shaved. It's a
Yeah,
hairdo.
I'm like this. I could
Mine
have hair. I'm not
mine goes
completely
down,
bald.
like, right here. Like, it starts right there.
Oh damn.
Yeah, full head.
Um. Yeah. No, it's funny. We had Modern Llama on one time, and then we had three bald guys. Actually, we had a couple of situations like that. We had somebody else who was bald too. Um. But anyways, to my game out here, what the thing that I really struggle with is that the game that I'm about to talk about actually just got discontinued. So I can't even go back when I want to, and I think about it all the time because it was the game that really like sucked me in the most. And I'm not even sure how many people will actually know what this game was, but it's called Pokemon Duel. Do you know what Pokemon Duel is? Does
No, I'm gonna
anybody
look
in
it
the
up
chat
because I
know what Pokemon
might
Duel is?
I'm a huge Pokemon fan, so maybe it's, let me
Yeah, look
see.
it up. It ran for like it was a game for like 3 or 4 years from like I don't know 2016 17 to like 2019 2020. I don't know. Are you looking it up right now?
Yeah, it's a
Maybe I'll
mobile
bring it up
game.
too.
That would be why I don't know it.
So and that's why I got hooked because this is I got into it like when my daughter was born. So at that point I was like I can't spend all this time, playing Super Smash Bros or being on a console or on a console or, a computer all the time. So that's when I really started getting more into like mobile games. So when my daughter's a little baby, I'm holding her, feeding her a little milk and then I'm playing the game on my mobile phone. But that game really got me hooked. And it was really just like the simplicity of it, how I could just take it out on my phone, play whenever I want. It had those elements that we were just talking about with alluvials where like you could each of these the Pokemon in there like had their own stats, but you could like just tweak them just a little bit to make them a little better by playing more. And I don't know, I just got really roped into that game and I really wish we could like I could play it now, but it got discontinued. And I've been thinking about for a while, like because it's Pokemon, like we could take alluvials and recreate that game, and that's just like a dream of mine. At some point, I'm gonna put through an IIP for a new Illuvium game, and it's gonna be like the Illuvium version of Pokemon Duel. Um, yeah, I don't know. I haven't been looking at the comments. Did anyone say that they know what it was? Eve Online. I've heard a lot of good things about Eve Online, but I never played it.
Wasn't that
I know
like
that
the
was
crypto game before crypto gaming?
Yeah, well, I know Aaron talks about that every once in a while. That like Eve Online was one of his inspirations,
Yeah,
behind the whole economy and stuff for
I've
Illuvium.
watched a ton of documentaries on those. It seems like it has a crazy history. Like I remember watching a documentary on this battle on EVE Online. It's like a 40-minute video, and it's just talking about how they've spent like millions of dollars fighting in space and using all these resources. And this faction was fighting this faction, and they were just fighting over resources so that they could sell it to other players. It's kind of a crazy concept. It sounded really, really cool.
Yeah, I might need to look into that because, like I said, I know Aaron was big on that game and for the economy side of things. Um, it yeah, I still don't even know what Eve Online is, but I'm gonna take a look at it. I just saw Dick in here was saying to go look something up. No Man's Sky. I've never heard of that one either. Like I'd
Hmm.
like to pretend I've always been some like diehard gamer that's played like 100 games, but in my let's see, I'm in my mid 30s now. If I were to go back like the past 20 years, I've been one of those people where like I pick one game and I just no life that one game for years. So like my past has been like that Pokemon Duel game was probably 4 years of like that's the only thing I played. Uh, Super Smash Bros. Probably 8 to 10 years of my life. That was like the game I played most of the time. And then some of the old Pokemon games like on the Game Boy. Like I haven't been the person that just tried out a million different games. I just had certain games that I really got hooked on, and that's what I played. And even right now, that's
Man,
kind of how I feel like with Illuvium. Like I don't have time to. I would rather stick to one game and get good at it than just spread myself too thin and be playing all these other games.
I'm not smart enough to do that. Like, I have to spend all of my time on one game, and even then, I'm shit at it. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
like
Well,
competitive games, so there's no point in like even trying to play multiple games.
yeah. In that with that Pokemon Duel game, like I was competitive enough where they had a monthly rankings in like month over month I was getting in like the top 25, top 10. I think my best finish for a month, I think I finished second or third place one time and I couldn't get that top spot. But that's also like such a motivating factor when you're like to the top of a leaderboard and you're playing the most competitive you can at a certain game. And I'm not sure how many people were even playing that game. I think it was around maybe it was like 30 or 40,000, monthly active players. So it was like it was a good amount, but it wasn't like some giant game. But when you're one of the best players at a smaller game, like I'm sure
Still
S
feels
Judd
good.
can say this. S Judd's one of the best players at Illuvium, and it's still small. You still get a satisfaction out of that. Um,
Dang, there's like
Dave
so much
doesn't seem
going
to
on
like.
in the chat right now.
Yeah, I don't even
Oh
look at half
man.
of them. What is he talking about?
Nothing. It doesn't matter.
I'm the same as Najaf. What is that? We're the same, Estrad? Me and you are the same? I don't
Yeah,
know.
one game at a time.
Uh,
Polo.
Najaf doesn't seem to like. I like everybody. I just want you to know that. I don't hate on anybody. No one hurts my feelings. I don't care. Uh,
Do we have any
he's also
questions in chat? What do you guys want to know?
yeah. Questions? Yeah, he's also not as smart as I am. I hope you're not talking about me. I'm a smart guy. That's
I said the guy
come
who's
on,
not that smart. That's crazy, bro. No, I'm just playing.
right? I think I'm a
No,
smart guy.
I think I'm retarded. So
Estrid was on this show before, back when he was nice to me, and then he started being mean, and I was like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to invite him on anymore. Jimbo gonna box Estrid? Yeah, I think in
he wouldn't
the
do
what is
that.
that the crypto fighting thing? What is that thing?
Oh my
The
gosh, yeah, dude, that would be so much fun,
that
but I ain't got enough clout
that
for that.
BitBoy was in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah, yeah, I want to see Jimbo fight somebody there.
Am I going to have my own show again? I don't know what you mean. If you mean I'm gonna make YouTube videos, probably not. Unless if Arena gets in a good state where I find it fun to play, I might do some streaming, but other than that, no.
No, I'm gonna make sure Jimbo comes back. When Illuvium blows up, Jimbo's coming back, and then he's
I
gonna
mean,
invite
I'm
Estrid
here.
on
I'm
the
just,
show every
you
time.
know.
All right, this was a nice short episode. Kind of fun. Just I like that we're doing this live though. See people in the comments,
Yep.
even if they don't like me, they just come here for Jimbo. That's okay. I'll keep hosting Jimbo here, and you can keep coming and talking. So Jim,
Terminal
we're
is the
gonna.
right word.
What's that?
Terminal is the right word.
Yeah. Right? No, he'll come back. Yeah, okay, we'll close out with an SJud comment here. Kieran's AMA with Scoriox and Sam, I think that's coming up in about, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 hours, 10 hours, something like that. So yeah, check that one out. Like this video, use code Najaf for Illuvium, whatever you gotta do. Got postponed? Never mind. All right, postponed. Not tomorrow, but I'm sure it's gonna be coming soon. So make sure you check that out. All right.
Bye bye.
See you later.
Thanks for showing up.
Yep.
Like the video.
Come back in 2 weeks.